Alright, you
Okay.
just want me to start with an introduction now, or give it to you?
Yeah, so we don't have anybody
Okay.
here yet, but just because we're at the start, please tell me your name, who you are, your game, what's your deal?
Alrighty, so my name is Solo. I am a tank player for the team Shikigami. Probably like top tier 3 range. Overwatch player. I've been playing since day one, and I've started to make the push up path to pro in December is when I really started to, or when I made my decision
Yo,
for that.
how's that going?
Yeah. It's going good. I kind of joined Shikigami as because they're a larger organization.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of part of their B team. Then after showing good performances in there, I got brought up to their A team as a sub, and I'm finding
Yo.
finding maps here and there. Also get put in to change like tempos up because me and the other tank Faded have different like playstyles and like
Mm-hmm.
comms. But
Yo, that's sick, man. Congrats.
yeah, thank you,
Good
thank
stuff.
you.
Well, thanks for coming to give me a good old schooling about how I can play better and be a tanko. You're also,
Yeah.
oh no, wait. I'm just thinking about like, okay, hold on. I guess I'll mute the mic for just a second, just in case. It's not a big deal. I just want to DOS.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Stream. Yeah, so is also a student of Ryerson or TMU that we both went to together, and he's here teaching me, so I'm here to take notes. Well, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so starting off, like I said, I went over,
Mm-hmm.
watched the VOD, got general notes here, and I see you're obviously on Sig now. You eventually swapped to Orisa, and then the last couple fights you play Ram. So I just have a
Mm-hmm.
couple questions before going in, kind of to pick your brain to
Yeah.
see if I can understand what decisions we're going in. But
Yeah.
rolling out here, why do you play Sig?
Sig, mostly because he's a good all-round character. He has a little bit of the CC, the shield to block off, and the slug to keep himself alive, so he does a little of everything. I kind of like him as like a default character when I'm not really sure what I'm feeling, and for fitting certain comps. I also feel that whenever I'm going against like a Doomfist, or a ball, like I need to play someone with CC, either a Risso or a Sig, because if I don't peel, then I get screwed.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's really it for I have for Sigma here for your question, but you also highlighted two things in terms of utilizing your downtime better and proactive decisions, so you just wanted to
Mm-hmm.
go over briefly kind of like what those two things means. So utilizing downtimes better, what you can do is you can set up knowing where and when you want to take your team fights,
Mm-hmm.
because I know there's a couple times you push a little bit too far.
Yeah, I
Communicating,
do that.
and then this isn't really like a ranked thing, but you can also utilize downtime in terms of communicating, because in a professional or in an amateur or competitive environment, it's usually falls on like the tank to like fight plan and kind of be like the IGL.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what the comm structure is like for your team, but that's one way
Yeah.
as a tank that you can make it better. And in terms of practice decisions, same thing with like fight plan and understanding what really the big one is understanding what your team's win cons are versus what their team's win cons are, and how
Mm-hmm.
you can force those. Right, so we can look
Right.
over eventually. I'll get into it more when you swap over to Orisa, because that's what you spend the most of this game on.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really finding how you can find value on your initial characters,
Mm-hmm.
and looking for things to force or targets that you can kill.
Mm-hmm.
Also going proactive, it also goes hand in hand with going first and taking tempo and space for your team if you're in the neutral or just have any sort of advantage.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, we'll get started here. So it's good you start off top left here. I'll
Mm-hmm.
say in general Sig is weaker against the brawl comps, because as soon as they can walk on top of you, you're in like a losing position.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad as against Ryan as is, but it's even worse against Ram because he can punch and shift through, or yeah, punch through your shift and your shield. So that's two of your three CDs.
Yeah.
Um, you go up to push on the back, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally you want to look more in supports and create those off angles. It's kind
Yeah.
of hard in push too, because I'll say Sig isn't really good on push maps in general,
Mm-hmm.
because it's very push and pull, or ebb and flow.
Yeah.
Which is, like I said, just push and pull depending on map. So you usually see tanks with higher mobility, so you see a lot of like Monkey, you'll see Ram, with the movement speed. You'll see balls sometimes get played,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just because if you look at push in general,
Yeah.
team fights will happen literally all over the map. And then that's why you'll see in professional play, you'll have teams forfeit some space to take a fight in a more favorable position. So some teams, they'll fight, instead of fighting on this corner, they'll still try and set up here, and then they'll have their tank anchor this corner. But with Sig, because he doesn't really have anything he can do, he can just hard pressure off angles. Like he'd be good to like play here and poke. Or just take wider angles. It's just harder for him to find that same value as other tanks would. But that's why you'll see him play on like longer range maps, because he can control lanes and space better. But since you're never 100% sure on push maps, there are better picks. But like I said, you don't spend too much time on this character, so we'll skip ahead. So on Orisa, first fight's gone. Why do you pick Orisa over other tanks? What is she in particular good at?
I think here just staying alive with gold and then having the spear and the suck kind of like makes her, for me, when I don't really know what to do or I'm like kind of confused as to why we lost the first fight, she just has good survivability and stays alive long enough for me to figure out what to do next. So it's kind of like when I'm unable to come up with another answer, she's sort of my default. Okay,
and then what are, looking at, so I'm gonna go 7 seconds in the future. Okay, well, looking at their team comp, right? Who are easy targets to kill? Who do you want to focus?
Well, ideally for a kill, supports or DPS, but when I go Orisa and I see that they have a Ram, it's usually to counter him as well and try to keep him off of the team. So if I'm not doing a job of trying to peel against the Ram, I'm usually trying to kill the Squishies or the Thieves.
Yep, that makes sense. I mean, what I have written here is I think these three, your Cass, your BAP, and your Mercy are really your three that you're looking to kill. You can also look to burst Ram if he's got his Nem form, and he doesn't even need to have Nem form, but you can throw a spear at him and you can burst him down quickly like that. But really what Orisa is good at, she's good at flipping tempo on a dime and bursting targets down. So what's awesome about that too is she, unlike, I think there's only one other tank like Zarya, she can literally run through an entire team, get a pick, and then back up, or like live to tell the tale, I guess.
Yeah.
But so that's what that's optimally what you want to be looking to do, is like see their BAP out of position or their Cast, not even necessarily out of position, but close to a wall. You want to walk in with your E, throw a spear, stay in with the fight with your Fortify, and then you can still back out in that same in that same cycle. But she's also very like CD reliant, so you want to make sure that you're not hard committing without your CDs up. I mean, that goes for really any tank, but Orisa in particular.
Yeah.
And we'll see what you do here. It's good to pressure the Sombra out, helps your team out. That's a bit too early. I know you took a bit of poke, but you weren't in any danger there. Good playing corner. I fucking hate that character. Oh my. You also don't have a lot of heals here, which makes it tough, but that's just ranked in general. Yeah, I think here I would have preferred if you were looking at Squishies instead.
Okay.
Because you can still kind of like play corner here.
Yeah.
And they're Ram swinging wide, sure, but if you walk up and take this space, you can, like, what CDs do you have? Sorry. You have them all up in a second. So you can walk, their BAP gets a kill, but you're still pretty fine. You can walk, you can kill this BAP pretty much for free. Because he's gonna walk up, he's gonna do CDs, you can trade and still live, because he's gonna walk up here, your entire team's gonna be looking at him, and you're really not in too much pressure, because you can't get headshot when you have Fortify up. But as long as you're using CDs properly and in the correct cycle, but typically you're just not gonna kill him here.
Yeah.
In playing corners, you don't have to stack on cart here exactly, and your team is just not looking at the Sombra. They don't have map control, so they can't really do much. But overall, I'd say that fight, just play corners a little bit closer and make sure you're looking at the right targets.
So, sorry, at that corner then, should, since I was contesting on the point, should I have just, like, tried to do both, or just, like, given up on the point for a bit and played for more of my life?
Okay. So you can back it up a little bit, but typically what you'll see is you'll see players either contest from here, or they can, like, jiggle peek, like, this corner, and it still contests it without him having to touch. Okay,
gotcha, yeah.
Because the last thing you want to do as a tank is get caught out in open space without any of your cooldowns, because you just die for that.
Gotcha.
Also, so what I was saying about like shooting the Ram and stuff, make sure you're distinguishing the difference between like your Brawl and your brawl versus your poke phase, because obviously when
Right.
you're poking and like your pre-fight, you can shoot the rim as much as you want, but in terms of when there's actually like cooldowns and stuff getting traded to try and find picks, it's at that
Yes.
point where you then find more value to kill squishies.
Okay.
Their Sombra is just getting away with murder in your backline.
Yeah. Feels like that some days.
Yeah, that's rough. So I guess what I'll say here, if this was like competitive, or sorry, if this was like a scrim or a match day, obviously you're kind of in a bad spot. They've got their ults. Hopefully your team all tracks it. Dude, are you usually in IGL for your team?
Usually, yeah, when I'm not exhausted.
Okay, that's fine. If you going into this and you have superpowers and know what you guys have, what they have, done to the T. What do you want to tell your team to do this fight?
Well, knowing ranked, what I'd probably do is I'd say, like, let's use 1 to bait, like, 4, and then see what happens with that, because I know they have more than we do, and I don't want to hard commit here, because I feel like they're just going to out-ult us, even if we try to use all of ours, so I'm probably purposely going to hang on to mine here, unless I see, like, a really good chance, but ideally, we go in quick enough where we ult first and win the fight before they can use theirs, but likelihood-wise, they're probably going to burn 4 or 5, and then we're going for the next.
So like what you know here is, because this is kind of like 1 or 2 fights left, is you need to make a play at some point for to win. So what you were kind of saying is to posture up, make them use something probably like BAP window or high noon, kite out, re-engage with something, say like Bob or your ult after you, if you could force like a lamp, which I think you do in this next fight. So you know she's the MP, she should be a high priority target. She's out, lamp's gone, go button. You're in, you use that out, you pull everybody back in. This is perfect example. And even just like the pull on that is literally perfect.
Sweet.
So here was a good fight. They used a lot, or they didn't use Ram ult, but oh well, you needed to win that fight.
Yeah.
Spy checking is good. Be a little bit careful that they're not too close when you are spy checking, because she's relying on her gun CD. I think here you get punished a bit because your team's really far back. So just keep an eye out that that's kind of comes down to what was the goal? We said utilizing downtime. So just knowing where your team is and knowing where you want to take team fight.
Yeah.
And they get popped, unlucky. Okay, here. I want you to take more space here. I don't know. This is like a troll, but typically, general rule of thumb is if their team is giving space, you want to take that space. You can play closer up this corner. You can still poke out here, or even extend a little bit further. But on the whole, this is a pretty sloppy team fight. You guys are trading kills back and forth, and it's a little bit like scary in the moment because you don't want to feed and die. But when they're actively giving space, you can go.
Okay.
They EMP, you get that out of the way, so that's fine.
Yeah, I think I was just waiting for my shift, but I see what you're saying.
What was CD on it? Well, even you don't even need, like, I'm not saying like hard commit. You can still like posture up, and you'll get that shift back in time anyway. But you die. We go next fight. Okay, Corsair, good. Unlucky. Okay, you do a good job here. They're giving space, or you guys earn the space with Bob, and you walk on it. Unlucky you don't get the ram in the corner there, but that was pretty good. The ram was isolated, you turned on him, and now you're pushing your advantage further, trying to get these kills. This is good.
Sweet.
I remember this here, yeah. You need to make your mind up at some point. You can either flank or you can go back. Because in this in this trade, you get the kill on the Ashe, or under the, I think it was the Cass, yeah.
Yeah.
They res it, and they kill your Mercy. So that's just down. He's like, you can do one or two things. You can go in, you can pull him out with your E, knock him into your team, or you can walk onto the cart and pull him down with your ult. Really is like two things there, or you can just push cart. You don't need to like hard commit.
I think I was thinking of doing that, but then for some reason I stopped. I can't remember.
Yeah,
I think I was
like,
distinguishing between the kill of Armors or not.
Yeah, this was ballsy as fuck. I remember seeing that, like, whoa, you had a lot of confidence there. You pull him down there, which is fine, but fight's probably already lost at that point. Try not to spear out of mail unless it's going into a wall so you can get the kill. Unlucky you don't get killed there. Let's see if I have any other notes. I'll say, remember, that's a pretty niche scenario when you're looking at that high noon. Remember that Lifeweaver's ult has a hitbox, so you could have stood behind that and waited for your spear and like jiggle peek it.
Yeah.
Just to play life better. But that's really it. This is a good contest from the window here. Is buying time for your team. You end up killing the Sombra off of that, and you're taking fight in the same spot anyway. Yeah, playing corners well. That's okay. Yeah, I want you to use spears more aggressively, because you could have 1000% killed the cast there on that wall. Remember that if you can hit that spear into a wall and then get that additional little burst damage, he dies. Like right here, he gets instantly chucked into there. That's I don't know exactly how much damage you do, but then he's stunned. You get free headshot kills. He's not far away, and you're fine. Okay, they're using a bunch. This is fine. They use 2 fight winning ults. You don't gotta be too picky about that. Alright, next fight, you're probably looking like a same fight plan with like your BAP window. Or you can even go first with Bob, but they're probably gonna look to burst it. Good pressure on the BAP, good spear, get shift off, that's a CD trade in your favor. Your maid dies, unlucky. Good Bob. Yeah, this is fine. Good spear because you end up getting the kill. That's what I'm talking about. When you can look for those spears onto the ram and you can burst them that way. I don't hate this flank. This is fine. You end up getting the kill, but your team loses the CD trade because I don't know what they're doing in your backline. Good, that great spear. Unlucky you whiffed there. Not a fan of that, but I think you end up swapping after anyway. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Wait. And your Mercy staggers. So you do say one more fight, and then you swap to the ram. Okay. But yeah, I don't hate that flank. It's just unlucky your team is not like killing anything. If it's not the Sombra trying to 1v4 in your backline.
I always feel like I'm pushing up, and then I turn around and I'm like, how did we lose that?
Yeah, I mean, it just like it's weird. Ranked is a ranked is a different beast entirely.
True.
This isn't terrible. You're playing well. You're zoning him out, but this is like the same thing. There's just a BAP in your backline, and they're like not looking at him.
Yeah.
So you're just dead because your team is hard trolling. And
it's always nice to hear.
Yeah. Then you swap to the ram. So I'm gonna go back to the same questions. What is it? So why do you swap ram over Orisa here? And I guess in general, why do you think that ram currently has a place in the meta while Orisa does not? Because they both kind of perform that same role of like a brawl tank. But what does ram do better?
I'm trying to think of the reasoning I had when I made the swap, and I can't think of that specifically. If I had to give like a now answer, honestly couldn't really tell you the difference of like what could help me with more than Orisa, and I'm still not sure why I did the flip, but I think I wanted to do the punch and pierce, and then maybe get like an ult off to get the win, but I know we're super far back. I think maybe just because he can right-click and stay alive for a bit longer, but...
yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think in general what we're looking at, because we also have to pay attention to the Ram versus Ram matchup now, because we identified Orisa kind of has a one-up on Ram with Spear, and he can kind of cancel that block and get the kills, but now when you're looking at a Ram versus Ram, it's really a war of attrition, so you have some...
Yeah.
The same easy to kill targets applies. You're still looking at the Cass, Bap, and Mercy. So also, like I said with Orisa, is Ramatra is even more so really a CD reliant tank, as to where like the Blizz devs, they came up with the term like tempo tank, right?
Yeah.
So typically in the Ram v Ram, whatever Ram finds more value with their CDs, they're gonna win the fight. So typically you want to hold off on like using your shift until it's either forced of you or you're using it to secure kills, hard brawl on a target, or live.
Yeah.
You can use your shield to take space, deny angles, or block off enemy heals if the Ram's feeding a little bit too much. You can again you use your slow to shut down enemy escapes or to secure kills when you're again looking to brawl on a target.
Yeah.
And I guess in general, what you're looking at in Ram versus Orisa is typically Ram has more survivability, and also his shield. He takes space a lot easier with shield because that finds more utility in the team rather than your spear spin with Orisa.
Yeah.
But we'll see how you do here.
Oh, I just remembered how this game ends. Oh my god. Right. With the BAP. Got flamed by the team for that one. That's fun.
Yeah. Don't worry, I have something written about that.
That's good, that's good. I won't comment on it then.
You didn't really need to use shield there. I mean, if your Mercy's gonna die to it, that's on her. You can't do much.
Okay.
The Great Wall. Doing job. Okay. So right here, you're not gonna kill him.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. What you just witnessed here is, or at least what's going off in my mind. All right, big wall. I'm calling Ram. He pops ult. I'm punching him away. I just saw Lamp come out, so I know the Bap's behind me. Lamp's out. I'm gonna punch the shit out of this guy, get him low, and by the time Lamp breaks, like he's gonna die anyway, right? We see. I think he does die. No, I don't. Well, he would have died if you were looking at him.
Yeah.
You really can't kill a Ram when ulting unless he's already low. You really just have to kite that in terms of how to play around a Ram. When you don't have speed, that's like impossible.
Yeah.
But I guess in that point they used EMP, and Annihilation. So the fight's already lost, so I would just try and find trade value instead by trying to get this kill. And in minimum, you force res.
Yeah.
I think I got off your POV. Do I have anything else? So you're not going to kill Ram with Nemesis form up, so just look to kill his team instead.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Next fight. Again, that's a great way of, as I said earlier, with using your slow to kind of secure those kills and block off escapes. You use a lot. This is okay. I'd say more so than you kind of like missing on the BAP. I think this fight is what lost you the game, because all you have is this. All you have is your ult. I think you die with it, and that's. I don't remember. But I'd say using these two ults, because you probably could have just went with either one of them.
Yeah.
That's probably better.
I think they were just desperate the last fight.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's nervous, but you got to make sure that inside these situations, keep composure. Yeah, I know this isn't on you, but this is just general. General sense. Your BAP dies, that is tragic. No, you do use ult here, I think, and turn this fight. Yeah. Okay, so right there, I don't hate the Ram ult. I'll say I don't hate it, even though you didn't find, you just got the 1 kill on the Mercy off of it. But
Yeah.
what I don't like is when you used it.
Yeah.
And I'll explain that a bit more. So you get forced out, you get scared, you shield, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Your BAP dies, you drop, you get your shift off.
Yeah.
Beating the fuck out of this McCree. Bang, 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 right?
Yeah.
So you were just on the 6-second mark.
Yeah.
And then you popped your ult. So the reason why I don't like that is you can still find more value off of your shift, and also I still think you had your armor up. You did. So it, as you saw here, it fully refreshes your armor. So you're able to stand the fight longer. So it just comes down to min-maxing your CDs and finding more value together.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't really realize about the armor thing. I've only played like 5 matches of like RAM at this point, this game.
Yeah.
So that's good to know. Okay.
It was a good kill. Unfortunately, the next kill never happens.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because I know he has his ultimate. Like, I'm ult tracking, and then he, like, uses his burst heal, and then he was about to die, and then there's, like, the reload, and oh, God. And I was like, I want the window to be gone, and then I didn't choose shift. Because I'm at 80 MS. Oh, God.
Yeah, it's pretty bad that your BAP misses. But I would say here, after he jumps up, I don't even know how late into it was, but he jumps up, I'm hugging this corner like, alright, I can't kill this guy, I'm walking back. I'm pinging for heals, I'm coming back up.
Yeah,
right. Perfect world, you live here, you get cared because he shouldn't be able to kill you if your BAP's paying attention, which it looks like he is, he just fucking misses his lamp. But you walk up, right? He's in your backline. What is this guy gonna do in the next team fight? Nothing, he can't heal anybody. So you go hard in the paint. You're close to, because he's gonna get ult from healing you up here anyway. Yeah. And you're close to Valk too. So you ignore this guy when they drop.
Yeah.
Because let's see when they do it. So I'd say probably about 3 seconds you're back with your team. So you're probably on corner now. And Mercy gets hacked out of res too, that's unlucky. It comes up now, I'd go, because he's not with them.
Yeah.
He does jump up it eventually, but like he can't heal them when he's over here. And after you've already identified that you're struggling to get this kill, so you can either like call for help or just change plan entirely. So you're probably not going to call for help in ranked. So you just double back to your team, know that you have a starting advantage being a 5v4, and with that one down is their main healer, or like the main person going to carry their team and their ram. You just go in with your ults. You can still like this game isn't lost at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think I have anything else. I think I covered everything I have written down. Do you have any questions or anything like that?
Yeah, do you mind if we watch like the point where I'm trying to beat up the BAP solo, just see where my team is? Because I almost never check afterwards like what their POV is and why.
I would assume they were all stacking. I should do. I would assume they're all stacking on cart because it's OT and they don't want to C9. If I were to guess, if I were a betting man.
Okay. Huh. Okay, good to know.
A Maywall! Yeah.
Oh, I walked out of it too. Fuck. Okay.
No,
cool.
that wasn't gonna hit you because you needed to back up there. And BAP just missed. But yeah, that's pretty much it. They were just focused on point.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I think question-wise, I can't really think of it off the top of my head. If it's okay, I might ask you later if it ever comes up. But mostly the validation of like hearing that my team is trolling in the back lane. Well, it's not just me.
Yeah,
is very nice to hear.
Yeah, this game was not your fault. I'd say you guys trolled by being on Lifeweaver for like most of this game. Because this character is just not good. You did fine in the Orisa matchup. You guys were struggling to deal with their Sombra, and that's not your job to do. That's on mainly your your DPS, and yeah, I mean your Lifeweaver can peel, but yeah, this game was not on you.
Okay, that's good to hear. So,
Yeah.
like theory-wise, you know, we're not on a team. This is ranked, right? So we're
Yep.
individuals. But
Yep.
if you had to, I mean, I know we went over like each fight and kind of like what it could have done to quote unquote to win. But what do you think here is the win condition, or like the biggest thing I could change, either generally or specifically, in order to have made a difference in my gameplay with all like the same heroes that I was choosing? Like, should I just spear the
Uh,
map more?
just target focus. Yeah.
Target focus? Okay.
You're looking a bit too much at their tank to try and deny him walking up and taking space when
Okay.
in the brawl phase. Like I'd say you're probably extending the poke phase a little bit too much. When he's looking to aggress and he is aggressing and you can't really stop him anymore, it's at that point where you look to find your own value onto their supports, because their backline's also walking up as their ram is walking up. So you can kind of do that exchange and pray that your team wins that trade.
Okay.
Because it is kind of the neutral. They have more heals and damage because they are on BAP. You can, I guess, like what, get like pulled out. Like this character just does nothing. Um,
Okay.
but it's mainly just looking at targets you can kill, identifying the targets you can kill, and
Yeah.
going off of that. And when they're in a position where you can exploit it and punish them,
Mm-hmm.
just go off that. Like main parts are like there was a cast here.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
when they're playing up and trying to take this corner, because they have to swing together. So you can, if they're playing a little bit too far back and having to swing wide, you can spear against this wall.
Right.
You did good usage with your E to try and like get people and like take space with it. I mean, try to get ram into the corner. That also works to try and bully a tank.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, typically I'd say if you're looking to do that and like into teams, so like here, I'll say this for an example. Their team's walking
Yeah.
up here.
Mm-hmm.
You're holding this corner. You go in, take space. They're starting to look at you. Press E. You got your target. We'll say probably cast or probably cast realistically. Cast here. You can drop it. Throw shield at his face. Shoot him a bit. Press shift. Shoot him a bit more. Oh, here's one thing. I'll say that I did not mention.
Mm-hmm.
When playing Orisa, I said I wanted you to use your spear more aggressively. Correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
One way that you can passively do that is with your gun cooldown, right? So right there,
Yeah.
perfect. You spear it, and this is going down.
Yeah. Okay.
So trying to min-max value like that, and it's like your same thing with in like that combo. So you can like shoot a bunch, shoot a bunch, throw that spear, so that this bar goes down. Pop your shift, so then it goes up even slower, and then get your kill.
Okay.
It's really just finding that min max is like where good Orisas are from like bad ones, because it's a fairly straightforward character and not too difficult
Yeah.
to like play. It's just you need to know how to properly utilize your cooldowns so you can get the most value out of them.
Right. Okay.
And once you get that down, you'll find a bunch of success.
Okay. So to follow up on that, so could you tell me like my best and my worst decision-making plays, or just plays in general, like this match?
I'd say best was typically on this corner, the one where they were ulting a bunch and you forced out lamp and looked for the thing your ult here. That was really good because you A, pulled them back into the fight, and B, you'd force the cooldowns where you could get the kills with it.
Okay.
What the fuck's going on here?
Oh, nice.
There's what else? I'd say bad things. There were twice where you tried to posture up and your team wasn't with you, so you would often get forced out and have to like forfeit
Right.
all of your space instead of just like playing this corner more, and then you're in better LOS of your supports.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning, you were looking at the RAM way too much for my liking. You started to fix it near the
Okay.
end of the map, like at that halfway point.
Mm-hmm.
But typically, I'd say negatives. We're looking at incorrect target focus, poor initial positioning,
Okay.
good team fights. We're forcing CDs and then looking at the right targets at the end.
Okay. Cool. Sweet. I think that's all the questions I have. Thank you for going over my game and coming up with all the stuff and like making a document and everything. If you
Yeah,
don't
no
mind
problem.
sending that to me.
I'll send that to you. I got pretty much everything I said, but I mean you have the VOD of it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But it is going to be in a written form.
Mm-hmm.
I will send it over now.
Sweet. Thank you. Do you also get VODed like this by your coach as well? Like, is this the kind of semi-pro coaching?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. When we go over VODs, there's typically in like groups of 2 or 3, because
Mm.
at the level we're at, it's not too much, because this is what I would call like micro coaching and kind of like
Yeah.
little things that you can do better on an individual scale, while we primarily focus on macro and map knowledge and knowing where and when to take fights and how to communicate it properly with your team. Like I said, the most recent one we did was trying to play Blizzworld and like set up dives correctly, and we
Mm-hmm.
had like a core of because right now what meta is like you have your front line of like your monkey somber tracers. So we 3 of us hopped into Vaj with our coaches,
Mm-hmm.
and we kind of went over where and when we can look for hits, how to communicate it properly, in like map control and stuff you need to do before you go for those things. But I'd say yeah, this is pretty much the format of what a micro style VOD would look like.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, man. I appreciate it. I learned a lot. Took notes.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you, Solo.
problem.
You're insane.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
crazy, man.
All right, I'll say good luck to you. You guys got a scrim tonight, right?
Yeah,
Yes, we do.
All right, I wish you the best of luck. I hope you can apply a bit of what you've learned.
I will do. I will bring all of the notes out. I will stare at them. I have a whole other monitor that just has those notes. I'm just gonna stare at it the whole time.
Yeah, I guess like what you can do, cause to do a little bit better,
Mm-hmm.
because you said you want to do like downtime and like keep an eye over like downtime and stuff and
Yeah.
decisions. It's just paying attention, identifying what your comp does versus what their comp does, what win
Mhm.
cons, and kind of making a plan around it. It's not even bad to like vocalize that to your
Yeah.
team. But I would just work on that for tonight if those are the 2 things you want to get better at.
Okay,
It's
sounds
just
good.
ult tracking, I'd say.
Yeah.
Alright, so
Okay.
or not ult tracking, fight planning. That's the one. All right, so I'm gonna head out. Again, thank you for giving me the opportunity here, and I wish you the best of luck in your block tonight.
Well, thank you so much, Solo. Thank you again.